Now, this is truly heartbreaking. On today, New Year's Day, 2025, a tragic incident occurred in New Orleans where a pickup truck was deliberately driven into a crowd on Bourbon Street, killing at least 15 people and injuring dozens more. The attack took place around 3:15 a.m. near the end of the New Year's celebration and just before the All-State Bowl was set to begin. Now, the suspect, initially identified as a U.S. citizen, was described by officials as hell-bent on causing maximum harm. The vehicle used in the attack was a rented F-150 Lightning electric truck. The FBI, along with local law enforcement, is investigating this incident as an act of terrorism, with investigations ongoing to determine if the suspect acted alone or if he had an accomplice. Which, by the way, left-wing media is trying to not paint this guy as a terrorist, but a suspicious package was also detonated at the scene, and there was an ongoing search for additional explosive devices. New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell labeled the incident a terrorist attack, and the suspect was reportedly unalived, possibly by a New Orleans police officer. The community and officials are in shock, with the efforts underway to support victims and investigate the full scope of this attack.
That the suspect was driving a truck with Texas plates. That vehicle is said to have come through our border in Eagle Pass 2 days ago. The FBI is investigating the incident as an act of terrorism. And an hour from now, New Orleans police are set to give another official update. This is a brand new hour of Fox News Live. I'm Molly Line.
And I'm Brian Yennis. Officials confirm that the suspect behind the horrific incident is now dead. New Orleans police with this earlier today.
This event started at about 3:15. It did involve a man driving a pickup truck down Bourbon Street at a very fast pace, and it was very intentional behavior. This man was trying to run over as many people as he possibly could. It was not a DUI situation. He was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did.
Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy with this message last hour.
If they're terrorists, we can't let the terrorists win. We got to track them down, hunt them down, bring them to justice, and live on with our lives and not let them stop us from doing what we normally do.
Fox team coverage, David Spunt on the federal investigation. But first, Alexis McAdams with more on the details as they develop. Alexis.
Yeah, well, just since this morning, right, the death toll has stayed at 10, but it could also rise, according to officials, as they try to piece this all together. Also, we know there's more than 35 people that were injured. What were their injuries? They could have been either pretty severe, we're told, and they were transferred to local hospitals, or they could have just been from trying to run during this chaos, because you got to put yourself out there in Bourbon Street thinking about 3 a.m. People were still out there partying. You hear possibly gunshots, according to authorities. Also,
okay, so she said 10 people were dead. So as of right now, between the sources, I'll say between 10 to 15 right now.
So that ramming from this truck that just went right into that crowd, and people were trying to run for their lives. Listen.
What I also can tell you is that this man, this perpetrator, he fired on our officers from his vehicle when he crashed his vehicle. 2 of our officers have been shot. They are stable.
Thank God.
Okay, so per 2 federal law enforcement sources to Fox News, the suspect drove a truck with a Texas license plate. We saw it in those pictures. It's a white truck. It had a Texas license plate on it. You can't see the entire thing in the pictures we've received from the scene. We're told the vehicle crossed the border. Unclear if this specific driver, though, even drove it right through Eagle Pass, Texas. But supposedly that truck came in 2 days ago over there through our southern border. The only truck was only the truck that was traced.
No, that's actually not true. And Community Notes corrected this. It's Fox News retracted the initial report that the vehicle crossed the border 2 days ago before the attack. It was tracked crossing the U.S. border in November, actually.
To Eagle Pass. and it went right down Bourbon Street last night around this early this morning, around 3 a.m. So this has only been going on, this investigation, for a matter of hours. But they say it was fast, it was intentional, and this person was trying to hurt or kill as many people as possible out there. So the FBI is also working with the authorities too to try and figure everything out in this case, calling it an act of terrorism. Several local elected officials are saying there is a possibility that this driver did not act alone. So talking about them having some type of event tonight with the Sugar Bowl, if there still is other people that could be involved that could impact the planning. The Department of Public Works, okay, listen to this. They were upgrading the bollards along a section of Bourbon Street where this attack occurred. So they were trying to replace those old things that kind of, block traffic. They're those little they were plastic, I guess. They were trying to replace them with stainless steel, according to some of the reports we were reading. So back out here in the newsroom, they were trying to replace those. So that's what could have led to those barricades possibly not being in the right places, we're being told, if this driver was able to somehow go around those barricades on a night when there were thousands of people in the street.
This was a public works program that started November 18th.
Yeah.
And was supposed to be scheduled to be done.
Who gave him the clearance?
Year. So that is something we'll definitely be following. Alexis McAdams, thank you.
And of course, situations like this bring about conversations about immigration and stop bringing people over here and allowing people over here who don't like Americans and things of that nature. But we have found some more information on this guy. Was he an illegal? Was he not an illegal? Somebody posed this question, though. Why is there no accountability for the people who craft the policy for all these senseless deaths? So yet another terrorist murderer welcomed, in by the Biden-Harris administration, which means potentially more blood on the hands of Biden, Harris, and Mayorkas. I don't know how you say his name. I'll tell y'all what, January 20th cannot come sooner. But again, before I even show y'all who they identified the alleged suspect, I'm gonna show y'all now, and then we're gonna get into the next joint. So here's the alleged suspect in the New Orleans truck incident, Samsa Din Jabbar. Somebody said, Sarah wrote under this, color me shocked, but this is the alleged photo. We also have a video of him that surfaced on the internet as well. Before we dive into that, I want to go over here back to Fox, where they said they are now reporting that there were 4 or 5 other suspects involved in the New Orleans attack. Just seconds ago, they were trying to figure out if there were. So let's see what we got.
A source within the New Orleans Police Department says officials have identified the suspect who drove the truck. The suspect identified as Samshud Din Jabbar. Now, Jabbar was carrying a Glock pistol and a .308 rifle that had been reportedly stolen in New Jersey. The .308 rifle was equipped with an optics and/or suppressor. There are at least 4 or 5 other suspects involved. That's a big detail right there, identifying, again, the suspect as a Samshud Din Jabbar, but 4 or more individuals also involved. This is becoming a different story, Paul.
The one thing I will say is who's actually delivering this influx of information as it pertains to this guy. I mean, there's so much information coming out about him so rapidly that it has me questioning, what's the motives, behind it? I'm just saying, obviously we have the horrific situation that took place, but, my mind can't do nothing but simulate something else is going on that we don't know about. And this is him, New Orleans terrorist Samad Din Jabbar, U.S. citizen and human resource specialist in the military. So he was actually a U.S. citizen in our, wow, that's pretty scary. What is this clip even about?
Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist, where I learned the meaning of great service and what it means to be responsive and take everything seriously, dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that things go off without a hitch. So I've taken those skills and applied them to my
Oh, wow.
career.
Wow. Okay, that was pretty chilling. What he said right there at the end. Somebody says, this piece of garbage from NO terrorist attack. Oh, wow. Hold on. Do we trust our government? Do we tell the truth? How did ISIS terrorists end up in our military? If this is true, Pete Hegseth is exactly who we need and now to get the military to vet their recruits. Now, remember how we just discussed about this being a terrorist attack or not? The mayor of New Orleans says this was a terrorist attack. The FBI at the press conference, though, said it wasn't a terrorist attack. The FBI now, we are investigating this act of terrorism. Let's see.
First of all, we do know that the city of New Orleans was impacted by a terrorist attack.
Patrick said we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event.
It's safe to say that the FBI right now is an absolute disgrace, okay? And this is why we need Cash Patel, okay, to get up in there and do what he got to do. We can't hate legacy media in the federal government enough. I'm trying to tell y'all, this level of competence we've come to expect from the FBI is nothing short of cuckoo for Coco, okay? Somebody said, I mean, at least they back around, probably saw the spread of information on X and then backpedaled. How can they go on with the Sugar Bowl unless they are sure that this is an isolated incident? Great question that I think should have been posed earlier. Now, JD Vance reposted what Trump actually responded with in regards to this incident. First, JD Vance wrote, heartbreaking violence last night in New Orleans, such a beautiful and great American city. May God bless the victims and their families. Donald Trump wrote, when I said the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it's turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts are with all of the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil, because that's literally exactly what it was. What else do we have in relation to this? It says legacy media has gotten their marching order. Vehicles plows. Vehicle plows is the narrative they're going with, not the fact that the New Orleans attacker crossed the U.S.-Mexico border at the Eagle Pass just 2 days ago, which we know was in November. Anyhow, let's see how they wrote the headline. New Orleans update, 10 dead, dozens injured after vehicle plows into crowd after terrorist attack. What is this right here?
The mass casualty situation in New Orleans is 10 people are killed and at least 30 others injured as a vehicle plows into a crowd in New Orleans, the heart of the French Quarter on Bourbon Street. This happening at 3:15 a.m. The police chief confirming that a man driving a pickup truck at a fast pace, as she describes it, intentionally trying to run over as many people as they could in their...
Not only that, somebody said, yep, it's begun. This is what the reporting is right now. At least 10 people dead after truck, vehicle. And they saying this is a cover up. Truck, car, kill, car driver. In the comments, you can see truck control needed. What do you think it should say? I'm honestly not, I don't know what we should be outraged by right now in terms of these headlines. He was implying that the headlines were somehow being reported by the left as, basically not really telling the whole truth or trying to size it down. But yeah, let's move on. We have the Quarterin who wrote, I've looked at several raw video uploads of the attack, and there was no flag on the truck during the attack. Maybe it was put on to more easily identify the suspect vehicle. And this is following a repost from Breaking 911 when they said, is this a flag on the back of the truck used in the New Orleans terror attack? What is it? What flag? I don't even see the flag. It look like a jacket to me. I don't see no flag. It look like a jacket to me. Yeah. Don't know. I've seen a new video. I won't post it in the replies. It's in the replies where it is there. Where it is there when they are not working on terrorists. I saw a cam video. Anyhow, let's just go ahead and get my assessment of what we done went through so far. Now, crime isn't tailored to a specific president, meaning is going to happen regardless, right? But criminals become more emboldened when you pardon everybody on death row, okay? And you don't prosecute criminals, and you have all these open borders allowing more and more on a regular basis. You get pushed onto the subway or set on fire, you get moved down the streets during the NYE celebrations. Sad world, man. January 20th can't come quick enough.